Hi everyone, welcome back to Journeying with Janay. Um, I haven't seen you all in a while for a full episode, but refer to my YouTube channel. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you will see the full reason why we're not going into it on this episode. But I am extremely excited because we're doing our first series on my YouTube channel. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and my mom had breast cancer, and there's other ladies that are very near and dear to my heart who some had it and beat it, but some had it and was healed on the other side. So this series is dedicated to them. The title of the series is The Layers of Womanhood. So every Friday in October, a new episode will be dropping, and we're going through womanhood layer by layer. So the first layer of womanhood is this episode, and this episode is entitled The Struggles of Womanhood. I'm a 24-year-old woman starting on my journey, and I wanted to kind of discuss what are some of the struggles that we actually go through, what ways we cope, who we lean to for support, and who inspire us. So I really could not do this all by myself because I don't have all the answers and my struggles may not be yours. So I had to bring on two friends who I actually just met, but we put this in the atmosphere. Actually, Kay did, that we were going to work together like a month ago, and it happened. So the power of manifestation that I'm always telling y'all about works. So everybody, please welcome Kay and Tatiana. Hi, ladies.
Hey.
Thank y'all so much for being on this episode. I couldn't have done it without y'all. And girl, thank you for putting this in the atmosphere. And now it's actually manifesting. So we all excited and a little bit nervous. We're doing this over Zoom. This is our second time talking to each other, but the first call was just amazing. So y'all gonna get those vibes today. But both of these ladies, they really inspire me. Kay has her platform, Kay Talks, where she sends text messages to people. I think like 500. You're at 500 people now?
Yeah, I'm at 527.
I don't have the time. Y'all just gonna have to find me on Facebook or Instagram. But I truly admire what she does because she is so consistent. Every day she sends out messages. Sometimes she posts videos on social media, but she makes sure she keeps people encouraged. She's a young lady in her 20s who's grinding and getting it and walking in her purpose. And then we have Tatiana, and her platform is Spiritual Eats. She does inspirational messages as well, and she does a lot of community events. She's done food drives before, school supply giveaways before, and she's doing another food drive next month, which all the information, we'll give that to y'all at the end of the episode. So we all pretty much have the same purpose, just doing it in a little bit different lanes. So they're both young ladies in their 20s, and I'm like, they would be perfect for this. So today we're going to kind of start to discuss some of the personal struggles we've had walking into our womanhood, and to hopefully help some young ladies who are our age and some younger to know that it's okay not to have it all figured out, because we definitely don't, but we can give y'all as much information as we possibly have. So ladies, thank y'all again for being here, and let's get into the episode.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, as I said, the title of this episode is The Struggles of Womanhood. So when we think about a woman or womanhood, I always like to have like the literal definition first, and then kind of just discuss what womanhood is to me. So when I went to dictionary.com, I'm not going to lie, y'all, some of the definitions made me a little upset, but I'm going to read them, and then we'll go from there. So when I went to woman, the definition of woman, of course, is an adult female. Then the second definition was a wife or a sweetheart. Then the third definition was a female cook or housekeeper. And we kind of know some of those definitions are a little antiquated because we are so much more than just somebody's wife or somebody's cook or somebody's housekeeper or somebody's sweetheart. So that was the definition for woman. And then womanhood was a state of being a woman, having womanly character qualities, and women collectively. And so womanhood is so important, and sisterhood is important because it's so hard to navigate all of the things that we try to be, because we're not one-dimensional beings. As much as sometimes people try to force us to be, we're not. I just had them laughing before we came on. I was like, one of my favorite quotes is to be a classy lady with a little bit hood and a whole lot of God. And that is definitely me, because I love God, but when I'm having my little hood moments, I want to make the Stallion and Cardi B. Am I by myself, y'all?
No.
So with that being said, one of the first topics I wanted to talk about is, with us being such complex beings, what struggles have we had walking into womanhood? And I'm going to start off with mine to give my girls a little bit of time to think about what they want to say. But personally, for me, one of the main struggles I've had is to not to be myself and not to be the woman that other people want me to be or perceive me to be. And it kind of goes back to the quote that I said. Most of my listeners know by now that I'm a PK, which is a pastor's kid. So I kind of grew up under that spotlight of having to be Miss Perfect, or having to walk a certain line, or, oh, you only listen to gospel music, which is not true. So one of my main struggles that I've had is to try to find my path and find my way and walk my own journey and be comfortable in my skin and be comfortable to know that, like, hey, I might not have it all together now, but I don't have to, because I'm only 24 years old and I'm kind of just starting out. So that was one of my biggest struggles, because I always tried to be what I thought people wanted me to be, and not who I am destined to be, and who I would be that would make me happy and that would fulfill my purpose. So that's been one of my biggest struggles. So Tatiana, what's one of your struggles that you've had walking into your womanhood?
I feel like myself being afraid to be successful and step out on my own faith. I am like being afraid of success in general. Being 21, or being a woman, period, it's like, is somebody going to listen to me? Is somebody support me? And I
Right.
feel like that's hard. And I feel like that's my biggest struggle. Just like, don't be scared. Don't be scared to do what you want to do. Follow your dreams. Like, nobody else is going to do it for you. Nobody can't do it for you. And I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. I beat myself up over it, scared to post, scared to do this event, scared to do that, scared to join this team, this organization, because it's like, what if I don't make it? What if I don't? It's self-doubt.
Right.
Self A lot of self-doubt, and it's like I'm beating myself up before I even take that first step. You
Girl.
can't do it before you even try. You have to try first, and then if it don't work, go from there. But don't beat yourself up before you even try it. And I feel like that was the biggest thing for me.
Okay, sis, you got deep, because that's what
Yeah, no, she touched that for me. I'm just like, well, I honestly agree with both of y'all, to be honest. That self-doubt and, just trying. Well, my biggest thing I did was just trying to please everybody. I'm going to be honest. I spread myself way too thin for others. I feel like I bend my back for a lot of people. Like, I'm swimming oceans for people, and people would even jump over a puddle for me. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think that was one of my biggest things, really just coming into myself, being my own woman. It's like, okay, what do you want to do? And it was more because it was like, anybody can hit me up, okay, can you do this for me? Can you do this? Can you do that? And it's like, I was there. But when I was calling, like, who was helping me when I needed saving? But I was always there for everybody else. And I feel like that was one of my main struggles, like, growing up, like making sure I was there. And I had to realize, like, you can't be everything to everybody. You won't please everybody.
right.
So I just, honestly, as I'm getting older and I'm still learning and maturing, and I'm growing, and I'm just trying to learn, like, what I like to do. I'm trying to be there mainly for me and work on self, rather than trying to fix the next person. Like, how I'm gonna fix somebody and I'm broken, or I'm damaged, or I'm going through my own things. You know what I'm saying? So I think
Yeah.
that's something I'm trying to focus on now. So that was one of my struggles.
And I think, even though we're young women in our 20s, I think that's a struggle for women in general, but
Mm-hmm.
especially Black women. We always feel like we kind of are the last person. We make sure, especially like once you get to marriage and everything, but you make sure everybody else is taken care of, because we're
Mm-hmm.
nurturers by nature. So it's like,
Yep.
I'll make sure y'all good, but then I'm left on the back burner. I'm the last person on the totem pole to be
Right.
taken care of. And like you said, you can't heal anybody else if you're not healed. You can't pour from an empty cup.
Correct.
Yeah,
Right.
I really think, like, all of our struggles are not just things that younger women deal with, but older women as well.
Yep.
If we can start to nip these struggles into the bud now at like
Early.
20,
Yep.
21, 24, we're not going into our 30s and 40s being so depleted and of our energy, of our emotions, and
Yep.
just kind of carrying that cycle for it. Because I feel it's a cycle that we perpetuate as women,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
No, I
so
agree.
ingrained in us to take care of everybody, and that's what we most of the time see in our homes. We see our moms or our grandmothers doing it, our aunts doing it, so it's just natural for us to pick up and do it, and we never
Mm-hmm.
stop and be like, but is this something I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right. No, you're right, because a lot of people don't find themselves till they in their 40s. And like, dang, I done let life pass me by.
Right.
And they just not realizing this. So it's like, I think it's pretty dope that we all, like right now, our age group, like what we are all doing is dope. Cause I feel like we trying to break that, you know, curse. You know what I'm saying? We trying to break the cycle, all that. We trying to be like, no, what about me? You know what I'm saying? So I respect everything that we all do, honestly.
True.
Yeah, and then like when you were saying, Tatiana, about self-doubt and fear, girl, like it was going off in my head because even like to pull off this series, I had got everything together and just being truthfully, like all the guests and everything came together, but this whole week I've been doubting myself, like I never did a series. This gonna come together right? Is this gonna be right? And it's like that voice inside your head before you even get started is stopping you from even going forward. So that's definitely something that I find we need to do at a younger age, is to trust ourselves more, like trust the gifts that God has placed in us, that He equipped us what we need with what we need to fulfill the things that we want to do.
That's the enemy, y'all. That's the enemy. Don't feed into it.
Honestly, because I watched the video and it was like, I forgot, it was a guy who was saying this, but I feel like girls need to do it. He was like, when your child is younger and you always tell somebody to have a plan B. Right. Why give somebody a plan B? Why can't they do plan A? And it makes sense. Like, if you have a goal, go for that goal. Instead of always having a backup plan, like, why not get good at the first plan? Instead of just being like, it's not working, so let's go on to the next one. You never go finish. If that's what you really want, keep going for it. As a parent, like, why try to change somebody's mind on something that they really want to do? If that's what they love, push them to be successful at what they love. Why make them have other options if that's not what they want to do? Now they're going to be like, oh, it's not working out the first time. Let me go to plan B, plan C, plan D. Like, they're never going to actually be happy.
I think I know what video you're talking. Are you talking about the one on Twitter, that video?
Yeah, that video. Like,
yeah, okay, that's Tiana Taylor's husband. Yes, I did see that, and I fell in love with that.
I did see the video, but I could definitely agree. And to any young ladies out there that's watching us now, while we're saying that, if you know that's what you're supposed to do and you don't have the support, don't stop doing it. Keep doing it. It's gonna be, I'm gonna lie, I have a great support system. I'm so thankful because I have people that support me. So I know it's still hard with a support system. So I'm sure it's a struggle without it, but never give up if that's something you know in your heart you're supposed to do. No matter how hard it is or how long it takes to get there, as long as you get there, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. I got one thing to say.
Oh, go ahead, girl.
I'm just playing. But no, honestly, when you said about the whole plan C and B and all that other stuff, one thing I will say is, like, I feel like you kind of planning for failure in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you already got these backup plans, like, you already think, well, this plan gonna fail, so let me prepare this one. So yeah, okay, I definitely agree with that. I agree. Like, we shouldn't plan for no, if it's A, let's just stick with A. Stick it out. And even if you do fail, nothing wrong with failing. That's the thing. Like, in order to succeed, you gotta fail. I'm telling you, nobody became successful by just giving up. Every time they failed at something, they kept going, you know?
And I actually did an encouragement for the journey that says failure is your first step to success, because it's in your failures that you learn the lessons that successes can never teach you. Like, when you have those losses, you like, okay, now I can go back from that loss and strategize and say, I learned this, so I know I need to do better at this, or maybe I just need to take this part out altogether. So never be afraid of failure, because it definitely teaches you things that your wins can never. And now that you're saying that, I'm gonna let Kay read that beautiful quote that's above her head.
Yeah, I a little backstory on my little board right here, y'all, and for other girls, if y'all ever want to do, like, you know, just little positive, even if it's like sticky notes that you put in your mirror, anything like that, just to keep you going. This one right here, since we're talking about failure and success, it says actual success belongs to people that do not see failure. That's what it says.
Yeah. And it does, because, girl, you just gotta be like, okay, I might have took this lick, but I'm getting back. Right. And I just watched the Sarah Jake sermon 2 nights ago, and she said that she don't take L's. All she sees is wins. She was like, I have lessons, and I get back up, and I go for the win. So you gotta look at it as not a loss or a failure, but as a lesson to make you better. Okay. Yep. So now that we're talking about like failure and loss and all of this kind of stuff, I want to kind of segue into balance, because I know for me that is still a huge struggle of mine. Like, I know how we balance. For example, I know we all have careers trying to walk into our purpose, school, And it is a lot. We kind of touched on this on our phone conversation before. Like, to do the motivational stuff, it takes a lot of time to actually write. Or like for Tatiana putting together these different events, it takes time to plan and make sure she has the necessary things. But that doesn't stop school. That doesn't stop working if you work somewhere. For me, trying to build a business, like the grind never stops in one area or another. And I find so many young ladies struggle, even myself, like I'm still struggling with trying to just find a balance of making sure that I devote enough time so nothing kind of I don't drop the ball in one area or another. So do y'all have like any things that kind of have helped y'all start to achieve some what of a balance, or that y'all can share with other young ladies that's like trying to figure out, like, I have so many irons in the fire and I don't know what to do to make sure that one of them don't fall?
Honestly, a planner. And I know this might sound so cliche and strange because a lot of people say planners, but I feel like a planner and sticky notes. Because what I do is with my schoolwork and stuff, I sticky note it. I will have my classes, sticky note, and put everything else underneath it. So if I have, like, say English, all my assignments from the beginning of the semester to the end underneath it. So I have to see. If you see it, you know it's there. Put it in a place you walk by every day, like by your bed. You have to look at your bed or on the wall every single day. You're going to see it. And a planner, and it's going to take some time when you first get it, because I know my planner, when I first got it, I'm not going to lie, I wrote the first week and I stopped looking at it. And it's going to take time, but once you really see, like, okay, I missed this, it's in your face. You start to look at it every day. It's like, wow, I kind of got it. But it's going to take some time because you might get overwhelmed. And that's the biggest thing, like not getting overwhelmed with everything. Stuff like calendars and stuff that's in your face, because sometimes you feel like you got it. It's good. You don't need none of that. And then stuff start piling up and piling up and piling up, and you really don't know.
Right.
And even if your phone, like the school, like you have like Google, everybody have a Google account. They have the thing that sends you emails and stuff. And I just found that out myself. They'll send you an email when a date's coming and stuff like that. Just simple stuff like that. So I know it. I'm always on my phone. I'm always in my room or looking at stuff like that. And it's help. I'm still struggling because it's a lot, but having it in places where I look at every day or go every day, it's kind of easier to be like, okay, I got it. I can slowly enter into getting myself together.
That's definitely a good one. I'm a planner, but sometimes I still, like you said, I have like the big desk calendar that I look at every day, and I would like hide color code, like what classes and stuff. And if I had other things to do, it would be a different color. And like you say, it is like getting into that rhythm of making sure you look at it. But I ain't gonna lie, girl, like I will put it on there, and then I will put it in my phone, in my calendar, and set like a reminder alert. Cause it's like, if it ain't on my phone where it's dinging in my face, I'm still gonna
you gotta have it everywhere. Like
right.
Everywhere.
Kay, anything you have that helps you kind of balance?
Same thing with Tati said. I got 3 calendars in my room. I got a desk one for my desk when I'm studying. I have a regular just agenda that I keep at my studio. I have a chalkboard one over there that I actually write on. It's right by my nightstand. I have a regular calendar right there. And a lot of things I do, I set alarms. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Like for my Kicking It with Kay, when I send my messages out, I try to do it in a certain time frame, because once you get in the habit of doing something at the same time, you know what I'm saying, it makes it a little bit easier, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, for instance, I try to, at least because I do it because I'm in the West, like, you know, I'm on the West Coast, you know, and I try to do it where it's early enough here and there. I try to make sure it's like at a good time. So for instance, like I try to send it to y'all 9 a.m. my time, 11 a.m. y'all time. You know, so I do a lot of, if you see my alarm, it's a lot. It's Bible study, is this, like everything is on my alarms, and I make sure, and when it go off, it's that time. But I don't even really use them that much no more, because like I'm already programmed to doing it. So it's just like, honestly, just like she said, and it's not cliche, it helps, okay? It ain't cliche. It helps. I'm gonna be honest, y'all, and like, hey, that's the smartest thing. A lot of things really don't be that difficult. It's really that simple. A planner. That's really what it is. You just gotta be, anything you want to achieve or accomplish, consistency. That's it. That's it. If you wanna, it's all about time management. If you wanna do it, you're gonna do it. You're gonna make the time for anything that you wanna do. Like you, Janay, like you, Tati, you make the time for what you want. And that's it. That's the only advice I got.
That
But you're right.
that is definitely a good thing. Like you said, oh, I was saying when you were talking, cliches are
I'm sorry.
cliches for a reason. Oh no, it's no problem. Cliches are cliches for a reason because obviously they worked all of this time. So that's why it's a cliche for a reason.
Correct.
So it's definitely worth saying because some people may think, oh, because it's cliche, it may not work, but it definitely does. I would honestly say something that's a little bit different that helps me achieve balance is making sure I'm balanced mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. I can't start a day without having some type of time, whether it's meditation, prayer, whatever it is. And definitely like before I go to sleep at night, that's another thing that I do. Making sure that my mind, spirit, soul is balanced, because if that's out of whack, then nothing else goes right. And I'm not gonna be able to make sure I'm maintaining everything that I have to do. So that's another thing. I guess little nugget of wisdom or advice is to make sure that you're balanced,
Yeah.
because you are the person that has to get it all done, and if you're not right, then nothing's gonna get done. So
Right.
those are really, really good things. So now that we've talked about kind of like the struggles and balance, I want to set up what I call is like a web of sisterhood. I want to talk about how we as women need to make a better effort to build more sisterhood, because I find that even our phone call last week, we all laughed, but it was therapeutic for me because I found like-minded people whose purpose is the same as mine, and we can kind of talk, bounce ideas off of each other. We can be there for each other. Like, I know sometimes I might be like, y'all, today, I told y'all before we got on, some things happening today just was not a good day. But having that sisterhood kind of reinforces, like, when I may not be having a good day, I know I can count on my girls. So with reinforcing the importance of sisterhood, everybody might not have a group message like we've developed that they can have, but I kind of wanted to talk about some women that inspire us, that I know if I'm down, I can hop on Instagram, I can hop on Facebook, Twitter, whatever, or YouTube, and look at a video and become inspired and be like, okay, I feel, even though it's basically a virtual sisterhood. So which one of y'all want to go first with someone that inspires y'all, that y'all would like everyone else to listen to when they're missing that sisterhood? We're gonna let Kate go first so she can remember this name, right?
Well, that's why I wanted to go first, y'all, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all now. I don't know how to say her name. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I guess it's Micaiah Keener. She's a minister. And I found her maybe like in 2016 when I was struggling through a lot of dark times. And it's crazy because she's the same age as us. She's in her 20s, and I love what she does. She sends us out daily messages as well. And I feel like I kind of got that from her. So she sends them out. She does her, due to COVID now, she does it on Instagram Live. She has her Sunday services. I tune in every Sunday. I have a whole book dedicated to her where I do my Bible study. She drops a lot of gems. Her videos are amazing. Sometimes she does Bible study via live again. She's on Facebook and Instagram. She has her own personal app that I love because you get different things on the daily. And Super, I ain't gonna lie, y'all, Super, that's my girl. I love him. And that's like the hood part, the hood. You know what I'm saying? Like, she came from nothing.
Dimensions.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? She came
Right.
from nothing and she grind. And I feel like that's the grind mode. Like, Micaiah is more of my spiritual side. And then her is like grind mode. You know what I'm saying? I look up to her, like all these properties she's buying, and she has a $1 million company. So it's just like, I feel like those two ladies for sure is who I look up to. And like a man, I will go with Nip. I ain't gonna lie. I will go with Nipsey Hussle. I don't know if y'all ever seen any of his interviews or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
That man could talk. That man could talk. And, rest his soul. But I definitely look up to Nip too. Like of course, I didn't get into him till after he passed, unfortunately. But just listening to a lot of interviews he did, that man knew what he was talking about. He definitely spread a lot of light. Like, it made a lot of sense when he talked, So those would be like the three people that inspire me.
Tatiana.
All right, me. Her name is Jalen, but like on social media, it's Space Over Matter, and she's our age as well.
Mm-hmm.
And she posts her journey, like how we're on our journey. She posts hers, and I love it because you get to see somebody doing the same thing, even though she's way ahead of me than I am with my journey. But I love seeing her from start and seeing where she's at, because it's like, I'm gonna get there one day. Like I'm gonna be there. And she has a ministry at her church, and she wants to own like a funeral home and stuff like that. And you get to see like her walk with God and everything like that, and her posts and stuff. And I really love that. And like she said, super, there's a girl on YouTube. Her name is Leah Space, and like she is.
Repeat her name one more time on YouTube.
Huh?
Repeat.
Aaliyah Space.
Okay.
Let's see. Her, she's like probably a little bit older than us, but I feel like her, for girls, especially because she dropped out of college, and she just go with her dream. And I love that because both of them are on two different journeys, but it lets you see two people on two different journeys,
right,
but still being successful. Let you know, like, you don't have to follow the status quo or anything like that. And I love that because their material, you can tell it's genuine. And how they talk to the camera, it's not like, oh, a setup or anything like that. And I really love that. Like, seeing that somebody around my age really just being them.
Yeah. And for everybody watching this, the people that we did say inspire us, we're going to link their social media information in the description of this video, so you can go and explore and see if they can help you out. Everybody is inspired by something different. Everybody has somebody different that helps them. And as Tatiana and Kay both said, it's like they have somebody for their spiritual side. They have somebody who grinds. So I love that. Mine, I have several. One of mine would be Kiara Sheard. She's a gospel artist, and she's a PK as well. But the thing that I love about Kiara is she reminds me a lot of me, because she loves God. She goes hard for God, but then at the same time, she also loves like Meg Thee Stallion and everything else like that, kind of like we talked about. But just seeing what she's done in her career, of course, she's like a legacy because she's the daughter of a Clark sister, but not kind of letting that stop her. She still has kind of created her own lane. She does is it Catching Kiara? Yeah, Catching Kiara on YouTube. Like, she does like personal vlogs and stuff like that. She does Bible studies on her Instagram and on YouTube sometimes. She does like this sisterhood mentorship program. Like, before COVID, of course, she chose like a certain amount of young ladies to come to like this house, and they had different groups and everything like that. So she's extremely inspirational, even when it comes to like talking about love and being patient and waiting for love. She just recently got engaged after having a string of bad like relationships and kind of giving up on love. So she does that, and she has a clothing line for plus size women. Like, she's just amazing. I love listening to her because I feel like you said, she's really real and authentic, and she shares a lot. And like, hey, I've been here before, but I've made it through, and you can too. So Kiara Sheard would be one of like my favorite ones that I always listen to. Another one is on social media is Mrs. Kev on Stage, because her husband's a comedian, Kev on Stage, but her name is Melissa Fredericks. She's just extremely inspiring. Got married really young, had kids young, and had got to a point that she was like, I've been doing so much for others. What about me? And she started these different campaigns, like to build self-confidence. One that really stuck out to me is that that she was enough without, I can't remember exactly, but it was like without change and something else like that. Like, of course you want to evolve, but knowing that whatever state of your evolution that you're in, you're still enough, and you can still love yourself and be proud of yourself and be proud of who you are. So like her Instagram, and she has a YouTube, they do a Love Hour podcast, and then she does a lot of things with women where she just uplifts women and talk about relationships, talk about love, talk about just being a woman and a mother and being a businesswoman. So she inspires me in the phase or lane, I should say, of just kind of like being a career woman and coming from a career to now being an entrepreneur and rebranding herself and doing really good at what she does. So that's my two for today that inspire me, that I would definitely, like I said, put all the information in the description. So since we started to talk about women and people that inspire us, I find, at least I know for myself, sometimes I can be a little bit hard on myself, and I look at other people and like, they doing it, I can definitely do it too. And we can look at it from an inspirational side, but sometimes I find we beat ourselves up about it because we feel that we should be at one point in our journey and maybe we're not there. So, any advice that y'all would have, or well, before we go to advice, how have y'all ever had to deal with sometimes feeling the weight of expectations of others?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Going into college.
Mm-hmm.
Going into college, I had the way that I had to get a 4.0. I had to just be perfect. I had to do this. I had to join everything. I had to
Right.
be a perfect college student. I can do nothing. And I think I feel like that's just a bad thing in general when it comes to college, and especially for girls. You feel like you have to be this certain way going to college, and I feel like that hurts you because when you're not that, it breaks your spirit down so bad. Because that's how I felt in college. I feel like I had to go. Got to finish your 4 years. You got to do that. You got to get a 4.0. You got to join this, join that, do this, do that. And it's like expectations are so high because you did this in high school, you did it in middle school. So what's so hard about carrying over to college? Even though college is a whole different ball game, and I feel like
Right.
that's it. It's like, and people don't understand unless they're there with you. So it's like you don't know what I'm going through, but I know I have to keep my head up because there's people that's rooting for me in the back, and people know what I did before, so they expect that now. But it's like I really don't know who I am right now, but I still have to carry that same attitude in some kind of way, even though it's hard and I really just don't know what's going on and I'm drowning. That's like college, just general aspect, college.
Okay, did you ever like feel like the pressure or the weight of expectations for anything in your life?
No, not really. Not with my family. It was, if anything, it was just me. Like not really with them. Of course, family wants you to be successful and everything like that. Because they know how smart I am and what I can do. Because remember I told y'all the other day, like I'm the jack of all trades, the master of none.
Yes.
I
So
don't
they're
know when
like,
sis
hey,
sleeps,
like,
y'all. I'm
what'd
still
you
trying
say?
to, I say I don't know when sis sleeps. Like I'm still trying to like you were like because I do
Honestly,
sales and I do consulting and I'm like girl like and you in school but I admire
Yeah.
it. I'm just trying to figure out when
honestly,
you sleep.
you do.
Yeah, yeah, but like not necessarily. It's really, if anything, it's me. It's like I feel like I'm way harder on myself than my family is because they more so like they like, are you sure this is what you want to do? Like they always try to make sure, like and if it is,
Mhm.
they support me. So I never really had like unfortunately, Tati, how your family kind of rolled you, like what I'm saying? Because I ain't gonna lie, I know you from school, and you were you were good at what you were
Exactly.
smart. Not sure if this girl, y'all didn't know her. She's smart. Like I said, when I seen her doing her thing, I know this is off record, a little side note. When I seen her doing a thing, I was just so happy. Like, dang, seeing her in high school, and now you kind of breaking out your shell. You come, and I love it because like in school, you wouldn't even catch her talking, y'all. If it wasn't up on schoolwork, any club she was in, the dance team, baby, look, that girl wasn't saying nothing. Or if you wasn't her friend, nothing. So like to see her, come into herself, I love it. And that's why as soon as, even with you, like, I don't know who followed who first, but like when I seen what you was doing, I'm like, okay, I love that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I wanted to definitely work with you both because I love exactly what y'all do. I love everything about both platforms, man. And I just want to take this little bit. I know we're gonna talk about it later. I just want to take this time out just to really just commend y'all, because I love what y'all do. Like I said, I watch y'all stuff, you know what I'm saying, and I love it. So, but yeah, it was never like no real like they was on me about something. It was mainly like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Their main thing was like, hey, what you doing? Because they know me. I jump from this, I jump from that. Like
Yeah.
I'm all over the place because like I said, I just feel like I'm kind of good at a lot of things. So it's just like, I want to do it. So I just feel like, why limit myself to one thing, So I just perfect certain things, I go to school for this, I perfect that, So their main thing was just making sure, I stay consistent because they just didn't want to be like, okay, Caitlin, you do this and you stop. So their main thing was just like, they supported everything I did. So if anything, when it came to expectations, it was me. I was hard on myself more than anybody else. So I have
I feel.
a loving, supporting family, like with anything I do.
And I would say like it's for me it was a mixture
Okay.
because I had the expectations, like I said, I've been a PK since I think my dad started pastoring. I was like right before my 7th birthday, so I pretty much grew up in the quote unquote church spotlight. So it was never really family, but it was like those outside expectations of this who you should be. Then I went through it because my brother and I are like 13 years apart. We have a 13-year gap. Everybody always laugh about, yeah, girl. Like people used to think, like literally, he graduated from high school. I was graduating from pre-K going to kindergarten. Like people would think he would come pick me up because my parents worked a lot then, that he was my dad. Like he just had a kid young. I'm like, no, I'm his sister. And like we definitely go through it now, because it's like now that I'm a little bit older, they always, because he's a teacher, they're like, you Mr. Edmund's sister? And I'm like, yeah. And then we get the looks like, y'all got the same mom and daddy. I'm like, yeah, we're just 13 years apart. So
people not right for that, man.
I never take offense to it because we hear it so much. But
that's funny though.
Yeah. So with us being 13 years apart, my brother like went to college and graduated, finished like almost a year early, then went to law school and graduated. So I always had the outside pressure, never from family, but outside pressure of, so your brother is a lawyer, so what you gonna do?
Oh, that makes sense. They wanted you to live up to him. They compared y'all a lot.
Yeah, like we get
that sometimes be like, dang, y'all, I am my own person. Like, let me find myself.
Right.
Yeah, I understand.
Which for me led to, and like I said, it was never like my parents or really like family. It was just outside people, but it led to me just trying to pick a career for two things. One, financial stability, and then two, to see if it's going to be something that's going to level up. So like, oh, he's a lawyer, so I got to be a doctor. I got to be something else, because that was my question. So those expectations was kind of put on by outside for that. And then, like I said, it was a mixture because I'm extremely hard on myself. It's like, you should have done better. You should have known better or whatever. So I was kind of like, I dealt with perfectionism, like so much to y'all did a whole episode on it. Like I dealt with perfectionism almost to a detriment, because I expected perfectionism from me, and I expected me to be perfect, so I projected it
on others,
people that was in my life. I hold to this standard. You're not gonna come in my life and do anything less. Which hindsight, as a child, a lot of therapy, hindsight is crazy, but that's kind of like the weight of expectation I had trying to balance.
Okay, so you wanted to, since you like you thought you were like perfect, you wanted everybody else,
right? Not that I knew that I was never perfect, which was another reason I kept beating myself up, because I'm like, I'm not being perfect in this area. Like Tatiana said, like have a 4.0, thinking I'm gonna go to college and make all and do this, do that, and just
look at Tati.
Yes. Like, you, girl, you're not by yourself. Like, coming in.
She over here like, yes.
Yeah, girl, like coming into just my womanhood and expecting myself to have it all together. And I'm like, I just made 24. I'm like, girl, you're not going to have it all together.
Slow down.
Yeah, so slow down. So that, like, I felt the weight of those expectations. Like I said, more from a little bit outside, but mainly inward expectations.
With you. Okay. Well, y'all doing a great job. Y'all doing amazing. If nobody told you that in a while, I'm rooting for y'all. Y'all doing amazing. Y'all doing wonderful. Yeah. No, for real. Because sometimes when you look back, even if sometimes I know people like, oh, you bragging. No, it's okay to do this. Pat yourself on the back, because how I like to think, y'all could be doing a lot worse. And y'all know I don't even got to get into the details, but y'all could be in a lot worse position than what y'all are right now. So what y'all doing right now, it's dope. So y'all could definitely be doing something way worse than this. So I commend what y'all doing, especially in a world with so much negativity. I appreciate y'all, trying to be that light in our dark times, because definitely y'all we in some dark times. So I appreciate y'all. It really is refreshing to see y'all on my timeline. I love getting on Twitter to see this lovely spiritual eats down there on Twitter. I love seeing that. And of course, when I get on Facebook, I definitely see you up there, Miss Janay. So I love it. I ain't gonna lie, y'all give me that, it's like I'm coming up for some air. Like, you ever been drowning? Never drown. Like, that's the analogy I like to use. And like reading y'all stuff, it's like it's amazing. So I love it. So I love what y'all do.
And thank you. I love what you do. And it kind of went to my next point where we kind of
no,
we're good. We kind of touched on it and then kind of transitioned, but I wanted to talk about the inspiration first, and then
Okay.
kind of talk about, just because sometimes I did a video like we don't know the difference between inspiration and comparison, and we say people are inspiring us, but we're actually comparing ourselves. So that's kind of why I kind of talked about the inspiration and then talked about the weight of the expectations, or like the comparison that we personally do. It was a whole revelation, sis.
I like that. Is that on your Facebook?
It's on YouTube too.
I'm gonna have to watch.
Oh
that.
no, I'm gonna have to go. You see my face on my way.
You
No, I
Quick
think you might be dropping some
I'm gonna
gems.
give y'all the summarized version, but just go to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
For sure, yeah.
But like I shared with y'all, YouTube, y'all know I had to drop out of school this semester.
Oh yeah.
And me being sick, and like right after, when I was struggling with my decision on whether I'm going to drop out or whether I'm going to just pretty much work myself into the ground day and night, trying to catch up on like 4 weeks of college, which 4 weeks of high school is totally different than 4 weeks of college for the young kids out there who ain't got that.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Professors don't care.
I was struggling, and so bad, like to the point I was like in a depression and everything. Then the untimely passing of Chadwick Boseman happened, rest in peace. And everybody was like, this man did this with cancer. You have no excuses. He's the definition of no excuses. This should be inspiration, da 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 da. All through my timeline, that's what I seen. Now, granted, him having cancer for 4 years, I think it was, and doing what he did, is I still don't understand it. My mom had cancer, and I know how debilitating it was for her. But I had to say it was nothing but God. So for me, instead of looking at it as just inspiration, I looked at it as, if he did it with cancer, why can't I do it with fibromyalgia? Which then it kept being, so like now I'm getting to the point that I can barely sit up, but I'm trying to push myself to do schoolwork, because something that should have just inspired me, and on those days that I'm probably just being a little lazy, should have inspired me, I was starting to compare myself. And so one night I was laying in bed and I was journaling, and I was like I had a revelation that inspiration and comparison is different. So I think I entitled it Inspiration versus Comparison or something like that.
Okay.
Because we look at a lot of people's stories that should inspire us to keep going, have something to work towards, or like I said, when we having those lazy days or down moments, like okay, pick yourself up. But we most of the time, instead of use it as inspiration, we compare ourselves to that person, and like, if this person did it, then why can't we do it? And having realized that, because I used him in the video, like Chadwick's journey was Chadwick's journey. God had him on that journey for a reason, because he knew he was going to be here very much longer. But my journey is something totally different, and I have to get to the point that I walk my journey and be comfortable and confident in my journey, and know what my mental and emotional and physical state is. I couldn't do it. And so be okay with that. So that's kind of, like I said, that's the short version of where the video came from. But that's where the idea sparked from, that we use.
Tati, we gotta go check that out. We gotta go check that out, Tati. Yes, we do. No, that's dope though. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you didn't push yourself. I'm really happy that you didn't. You didn't try to do too much, because then you gotta listen to the body. Maybe at that time he was strong. He did have the strength to do the movies and do all these things. And at the time you were weak, and that's okay.
Right. So that's where that came from. But that's what I wanted to kind of talk about inspiration, and then kind of talk about the weight of those comparisons, to remind y'all, which goes into the next little part, which is like the last little part of the video. Advice that you would have to give to younger ladies, or ladies our age, but especially I want to kind of talk to the girls that's a little bit younger than us, or that's like high school juniors and seniors, and trying to figure out things and figure out my next move with college, and just saying that, hey, like, where am I'm trying to get started. I might be confused, or I might be putting unnecessary expectations on myself, or I might be comparing instead of just letting it be inspiration. What is some advice that you would give to those young ladies? And I'll start to give y'all some time to think about it. But my advice was that you don't have to, I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure I said it what I thought, that you do not have to have it all together right now. I had that mentality of, I have to have it all together. I have to stick to this plan and this timeline. and I never gave myself the grace to make the mistakes and to learn from them. So any of you who are watching us, please, please, please know you do not have to have it all together. Your 20s and the time right out of high school is actually the time for you to mess up and make the mistakes and figure it out. And I think we kind of talked about this, maybe change your major a few times, whatever it is. Yeah. It's that time for you to do that now. So never feel that you're on this ticking clock. That was my thing. It's like, oh, I'm about to be out of high school 5 years, 6 years. What do I have to show for it? And just know that you don't have to have it all together now, and that you have the time to figure it out. Use that time to figure it out, and also give yourself enough grace. Enough grace. I'm gonna say it again. Give yourself enough grace to make mistakes, but not just make the mistakes, but learn the lessons for them and then apply them going forward. That would be my advice for anybody kind of having those struggles into womanhood. So I don't know which one y'all want to go next.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Tati, you got this, because she pretty much cleared us out the way. She said it all.
I would just say do it, and I think some people think it's harder than it is, but I feel like just go for it, and that's with anything. I feel like sometimes we're, like I said, our biggest enemy. We don't want to do things because we're scared, just scared of doing it. And I feel like just do it. Like me in middle school, I didn't do nothing. Me in high school, I edged my way up to, and I feel like if I wasn't so afraid and just afraid to do a lot more, I look back and I'm like, man, there's a lot more that I wanted to do. And looking back at some of my years in college, I was so afraid to actually step out of my shell and be like, man, join this thing or do this or do that. Just do it. If you want to join an organization, do it. If you want to start your own brand, do it. Don't let yourself be your own worst enemy or beat yourself up when it comes to doing stuff. Even if you want to design shirts, car wash, engineer, whatever it is, because some stuff they don't even tell us to do it, like, because you're a girl, you're not supposed to be doing that type of stuff. Right. Just clean your head out of all that and just go for it. Like, let no one tell you you can't do that or don't do that, or just wait, whatever. If it's on your mind right now, do it. And if you feel like it's not your time, work for it, write it down. But don't give up on your dreams, or don't not do something because you're afraid of what it's going to be. You don't know how it's going to be or it's turn out unless you actually do it.
That's it, right?
Okay, both of y'all. Okay, how do I measure up to the lovely advice of you two?
Girl, you have something in there.
Hey, so what I'll do, just to, I'm gonna piggyback off you both. I'm gonna start with you, Janay, with the whole you said making mistakes, right?
Right.
I tell a lot of people, I do talk to a lot of young girls, and I tell them all the time, look, make mistakes. Like, it's okay to make mistakes. My thing is, if you're going to make it, like you said, learn from it. Don't make a mistake and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it and think, oh, my life, why is nothing changing? It's just like, right. What have you learned? If you're not learning nothing, you're not trying to improve. It's like you're going to constantly find yourself in the same situation over and over again. And it's like, how you going to complain about something you're not willing to change? So I definitely wanted to piggyback off that one and Miss Tati down there. Just doing it, I will agree. And when you do something, ladies, be consistent though. Don't start on October 1st and you didn't give up on October 10th and expecting some results. No, yes. You got to keep going and keep going. I don't care if you've been working for 3 months, 5 months, a year, 2 years. You never know when that big break gonna happen. But you got to stay consistent. And I know me, myself personally, I am very scared of the future. And like Tati said, don't be scared. And I know we all scared of the unknown, because the unknown is scary. Think about when somebody call your phone, this unknown, who this is. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. I'm just saying, the unknown is very scary. And my thing is, I feel like if a lot of us, and that was one of my messages a few days ago, I feel like if a lot of us knew, what was going to happen, or, you would do it, you would make the change, you would make the sacrifice, but we'd be so scared of what's going to happen, or if I do it, it's okay if things don't work out how you planned or envisioned it to work out. Because like I always say, what's for you, you're going to always find its way to you. Even if you got to go through this way, you got to do lumps, curves, anything, it's going to find its way to you. So I feel like if you have a purpose, you have a dream, man, you got to chase it like no other. Don't let doubters get to you. Use any type of negativity as motivation. And for me, feedback, I don't care if it's good or bad, I use all of that to fuel me up. And that's one thing I do want to tell y'all, man. And don't always feel like somebody that's giving you constructive criticism is hating on you. They jealous of you. It's okay to hear other people be like, hey man, you should do it this way. Because sometimes people really do want you to do well and they are rooting for you. And it's okay to listen. That's one thing, and I'm done. Listen to other people sometimes. It's okay to take it into consideration. You may not use everything, but maybe something that they told you may work out for you. All right? So just listen to other people. You know, don't be afraid. Don't be scared. Don't feel like you gotta have everything figured out, because you won't have it all figured out, and that's okay. Girl, you're gonna be 30 years old, still don't got it figured out. It's okay. It's okay.
Right.
It's life. Life is meant to be lived, man. Just live your life. Don't try to rush it. Don't try to do too much. Don't do too less. Just live life, because tomorrow really isn't promised. So just do what you gotta do and live it to the fullest.
That she said she didn't know how she was gonna follow us, but she came through with whole words.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
You have to be sorry because it needed to be said.
You're right.
Which is why, like I said, y'all didn't have a fly flying around in my room and it's getting on my nerves. But anyway, focus.
Hey, you need to pause, swag it.
No, I'm not coordinating enough to pause and wag nothing. Ring light, everything been fell over. But anyway, this is why now everybody who has watched till the end, hopefully, y'all see why I had to have them on the episode. Kay kind of went into it a little bit earlier, but I just want to say again, thank both y'all for being here. Y'all don't know how much this has meant to me. This is very much needed because I talked about it earlier. There's not a lot of sisterhood. I find like sometimes we try to compete against each other instead of just supporting each other, and all of us can come up together. That's another thing that so I love what y'all doing. I've never ever met neither one of them in person. I'm a few years older than both of them, so I didn't go to school with them. But it's like this is our second time talking. Y'all might not believe this, but it's like we've been knowing each other for forever. The first time we talked, we was on the phone for like literally 2 hours, going back and forth and just having, like I said, that sisterhood, that bond of being able to be there for one another. And their platforms are so amazing. Like I said, we have kind of like the same purpose, but we doing it a little bit differently in our own little style and way. So I encourage anybody, not just women, men as well, to check out Spiritual Eats and check out K Talks, because they have some amazing things. They're young Black women on their journeys, on their grinds, and still living out their purpose as well as growing and learning. And they have inspired me in so many ways, from just like the things that I've seen that they posted in their consistency, like Kay talked about, and Tatiana's fearlessness, because whether she know it or not, she talked about fear, and she's really fearless because the endeavors that she takes on to do and the things that she has shared with us that she want to do in the future is just like, sis, I can't wait to see it come to fruition. Like, I'm just gonna be like, we talked about that and now it's happening, guys.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. She's a bold one. I love it. Yeah,
she's definitely bold, because you talking about the shy girl you knew in school, and I'm like, this girl is like fearless.
Yeah, I'm telling you, we didn't know each other like that, but like, of course, we passed. I mean, it's still to high, so it's just like, you know, I just knowing of Tatiana, it's just like when I seen her, I'm like, Spiritual Eats, who is this? Girl, I watched that video. I said, boy, this not no Tatiana. I kept reading and watching the videos. I said, Miss Ma'am, you got a voice? What? Go ahead on and use that. Like, I was so happy, and I was rooting for you before you even knew it. And you, lady up there, dealing with what you're dealing with, and you still found the courage and strength to fight. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to commend you on that, because a lot of people who do get diagnosed with anything, any type of illness, sickness, whatever it may be, the mind is very powerful, and you know, you could really let that tear you up. And the fact that you kept going, you kept fighting, because you could have easily like, oh, I'm sick, I'm not doing this no more. Oh, I'm sick. You know, you could have fell victim to that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I love your little saying, turn your pain into purpose, because I told somebody that the other day. You know, little things y'all say, definitely a little gems y'all say, I definitely use it. Telling people, because like I said, y'all inspire me as well. And I feel like you said, like, there's no competition here, man. Anything these girls ever need or anybody, hit me up. And I know it's vice versa with them. I know if I need, hey man, how you do this? Because for instance, Tati, she done did a giveaway, dope. She's doing a food drive, dope. And I cannot wait, because I'ma be there to help. I'm
Yes.
sorry, y'all, but I'm excited. I'm
For the
excited.
first time in November, and like I don't think the people watching, like, just November 14th, watch our
14th.
stories. 14th, right,
Yeah.
Tati?
14th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch our stories. Y'all probably like, what is she talking about? Tatiana is doing something really amazing. She wanted to give back to the community. We, of course, everybody knows it's no secret. We're in a pandemic. Things are rough. We've had storms, especially the city of Lake Charles. They've had a hurricane that came through. A lot of people lost everything. So Tatiana wanted to give back, and she's doing a food drive November 14th. It's a Saturday. We will have more information. I'm gonna have their socials in the description, so make sure you follow Spiritual Eats on Twitter and Instagram to get all of the information for the giveaway. If you want to donate any non-perishable items, please donate to her. Once you follow her on those, you can DM her, find out what you can give, find out what you can donate, but please do whatever you can to help out, because she's doing really, really amazing things. I mean, me and Kay are doing it on a more personal level and kind of like putting stuff out there, but she's actually putting her time and her money and her resources out there.
Everything.
Efforts, and she's not asking for anything in return. So we definitely need to support her in every way possible. Like I said, look in the description. All our socials, everybody we talked about who inspire us, their socials will be there. And we've come to the end of the episode. I hope it was comfortable. I was trying to get everything in and not make it too long. But thank you, ladies, again for coming on. I'm so grateful for the sisterhood that we're building, the bond that we're building, and I can't wait till November so we can get together, give back, and then turn up a little bit together after. So,
no, thank you for having me. Thank you. I appreciate you for reaching out. It's an honor.
I couldn't have done this without y'all. And like I said, Kate, like literally, y'all, if y'all go back on Facebook, she posted it, I think, on like a Sunday, and that Saturday night before, I had just sit down and wrote goals and said, I want to work with people who have the same foundational purpose as me. And I wrote it that night. The next day she posted it. I lost my mind in my house. My parents were like, why are you screaming? I'm like, oh my God, I just wrote this last night and it's about to happen. So I couldn't have started off this series in any better way with you guys. I'm so thankful for y'all, and thank y'all for coming on. Everybody that's watching, thank you for watching, and stay tuned. Next week, I have another special guest coming, and we're going to talk about the prize and not the purpose. So ladies, we're going to remind you of your purpose next week. So thank you all for watching, and thank you for coming along with me as I turn pain into purpose. Bye.